safari for 5 days in Maasai Mara. So hit that subscribe button to see how we eat and more of this. Hello, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Brian.
And a few weeks ago, we had the amazing opportunity to go on safari in Kenya's Maasai Mara. We traveled with Gamewatchers Safaris and stayed at their amazing new safari cottage accommodations in the Conservancy. We'll show you around these beautiful accommodations. We'll show you all the wildlife we saw and the beautiful scenery.
And
we'll show you how Gamewatchers accommodated Brian and I as two vegans staying for 5 nights at this incredible eco-safari camp. I'm a little teary because I think that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. First, we and my parents, who came along with us on this trip, had to get from Nairobi to the Maasai Mara, and Gamewatchers made our transport really simple. We could have taken a land transfer, but we decided to brave a couple of small planes. How are you feeling, Brian?
you know what? I've made my peace with it.
It was all very safe.
Yes.
Just, we have someone not all that comfortable with tiny planes.
This guy.
We got from Nairobi to the Conservancy, and we not only got a view of the landscape from up high, we saw our first animals, and the safari adventure began.
We didn't get a photo of it, but there was an elephant down below, and we could see all these things. And then when we landed and our guides picked us up, there was wildebeest and giraffes and gazelle, and
we weren't even at our accommodations yet, and we were just
the safari started immediately.
We'll talk lots more about our amazing guides because they really made this trip for us.
They were incredible, and just two of the nicest people you could really hope to meet.
And they were there waiting for us when we got off the plane. So even that first little drive to our accommodations, we were all ready with David and Caleb. They were such amazing spotters, and on that short little kind of extra bonus game drive, I was so excited to see giraffes. That was one of my animals that I was so pumped to see.
And we ended up seeing 12 before we even got to the camp.
And we saw a giraffe sitting down, which they said was a little more rare to see. David was our driver and an amazing spotter, and he saw this wildebeest that looked really tiny. And as we pulled towards it, he noticed that the placenta was still in the grass, and this wildebeest was a half hour to an hour old. We don't have any proper footage of it yet because Brian's camera was still packed away because we hadn't even got there yet.
Yeah.
But I have some phone footage of its little wobbly legs trying to keep up with its mom. So we were just
circle of life.
We were just in.
It was happening.
And then our other spotter, Caleb, always was coincidentally sporting a Canadian hat. So that was really cute.
So we felt right at home.
He took really good care of us.
Not only did Caleb and David take such good care of us, the whole staff at Gamewatchers did. It was an incredible experience. The people really made it.
As soon as we arrived at the cottages, the rest of the staff welcomed us with their traditional Maasai jumping dance. And their hospitality and enthusiasm for sharing their lands with us and their culture with us was such an incredible part of this experience and why we traveled with Gamewatchers. Their Porini camps are located in private conservancies and protected wildlife areas where the land is leased from the Maasai communities. The small, eco-friendly camps are designed to have minimal impact on the environment, and they provide jobs for the Maasai community, as well as support for their economic development, schooling for their children, and a number of other initiatives that you can read about at the link in the description box below if you're already wanting to book your own safari with Gamewatchers.
And maybe before we go any further,
you have to see how beautiful this cottage is. Come along. We got settled in and we didn't film it.
We were a little overwhelmed. It was exciting.
It was so refreshing and wonderful. It was our first taste of food that Chef William made us. It was this welcome, well, not exactly this, but it was a welcome drink that was a beet, apple, cucumber, ginger, and lime juice. And so I tried to recreate it. How does it taste?
It tastes good to me. I don't, to be honest, I remember it being amazing. I don't really remember exactly what it tastes like because, like I said, I was thirsty, first of all.
We didn't even get a picture of it. We were just like...
Yeah, but I was overwhelmed. There was like animals and giraffes and the place was beautiful and people were amazing. And
I think Chef William said that he added like a lime spritzer to it. So it was like slightly carbonated. So I just added lime juice.
We could add some kombucha to it.
We could give it a little bit of like a bubbly burst.
Do you want to see a recipe for this on the blog? I think you should. I think this tastes like summer to me. This is like a fun refresher and it reminds me of William and all of our wonderful hosts. So that's not a bad thing.
It was so much fun.
Take me back.
Are we going to be like red by the end of this?
And then we had our first lunch, our first official meal, and spoiler alert, the food on this trip was incredible. We've traveled, we've had some good food around the world, but I don't know, this was pretty great.
This gave us a little taste of all the delicious food to come.
The view didn't hurt either. Yeah. That was some kind of view. I think the food tastes better just by proxy.
And for this lunch, we had a salad, which was a beet and carrot slaw with cucumber and raisins, roasted sweet potato and onions, a dal, a lentil curry, turmeric rice, and for my parents, they made some chicken and gravy as well. So it's great to know that they can accommodate different diets within the same group. Oh, and for dessert, we had a little light dessert, some fresh fruit, and then we got packed up and we're ready to head out on our first official game drive. We saw waterbuck, more wildebeest, zebra, vervet monkeys, and our first of the big five.
A lion encounter. I again, like first game drive, like 20 minutes in, I was like, oh, if we go and if we see a lion, I'll be so happy. Get ready. There's a lot of lions in this video. They're everywhere.
The Olkanye Conservancy is known for their lion population.
Yeah, I think the whole Mara is. Our first lion encounter was two sister lionesses enjoying a meal.
It's a good thing that the wildebeest population is as strong as it is because
they're at the bottom of the food chain.
Our guide spotted a bit of a grizzly trail.
But very cinematic.
Yes.
Saw some fur, then we saw some flies, then we saw some stuff that looked like this beet juice in the grass, and then we saw
two lions enjoying a meal.
But
it's life.
Circle of life. The wildebeest placenta in the morning when we got there, the other wildebeest in the evening.
We briefly saw two young male lions, which David said were about 8 months old, and after watching the lionesses digest their meal some more, David followed a hunch and drove straight through the bushes where we saw this 6-year-old male. So again, like bucket list thing for us was full mane male lion.
And stay tuned because we found an even older full mane lion. He's coming up.
You got some good photos. He's happy.
I took a lot of photos, but if you want to help support us, we do have some of these photos available for purchase, and we will link to those below.
And this is where we had our first sundowner, which is a Kenyan tradition where you enjoy the beauty of the nature around you with a drink in your hand.
I can get behind that tradition. I think we should start doing it out here, just go to the beach, watch the sunset.
So every night they had a plethora of options. So you could have a gin and tonic, you could have wine, you could have beer, you could have a soft drink, you can have water, juice, whatever you want, and also some snacks. And we had amazing veggie samosas and some
homemade chips, taro chips. We got notes here because this is a lot.
And I guess we were so excited looking at the line that we again forgot to film the food.
Excited / maybe a little preoccupied. That first night, I will say, you are close to the animals, sometimes like 10 feet. I think that first night, maybe we didn't take as many photos because our brains were still processing lions.
So we didn't film those sundowner snacks, but stay tuned to see more of our sundowner snacks because there are more to come. We can show you what we had for dinner, though.
I can't believe this is just day one. As we're retelling it, I'm like, so many things.
We had an amazing watermelon salad as an appetizer. We had a carrot ginger soup, and there was fresh bread, homemade rolls every day.
Every day, every dinner was homemade bread. And
an amazing soup every day.
Living right.
And then our main was a spinach-filled crepe with roasted veggies on the side. And at every dinner, our chef William made some sort of Kenyan Kenyan dish for us, which was amazing.
So awesome.
When we travel, we always want to try to enjoy some of the local cuisine, which isn't always that easy when you're plant-based. This was a really amazing little surprise and the highlight of every dinner for sure.
And stay tuned because this Thursday and Sunday, it's Kenya week here at Tasty Thrifty Timely. Catherine cooked with William and learned how to make 2 Kenyan dishes. So those videos are coming out later this week, so stay tuned because Catherine's gonna learn how to make yummy things that we ate on this trip. And I'm excited to eat again.
For this night's Kenyan dish, William made matoke, which is a green cooking banana, and it's a staple food crop in Kenya, and he served it with green peas, and it was delicious.
Yeah, I mean, the food on this trip, it was so good, but it was also so interesting, so it was really exciting to not get a burger.
Yeah, it was nice to not just get like green salads and a burger and really kind of...
And it was all whole foods. There was nothing processed. They made everything, as you'll see in the upcoming videos, when Catherine's in the kitchen working, they made everything from scratch. And
we got our fiber in.
yeah.
And they always had a different main for my parents as well. That would be a meat or a fish, but then all the sides would be the same. So again, if you're traveling with other people, then they can accommodate everyone.
It was delicious, and every night we would just conk out because we were full. I mean, it was 4 courses.
Well, yeah, what's the course that we haven't talked about yet?
Dessert, I love dessert.
For this first dessert, we got an actual chocolate cake, like a vegan dessert.
We had a hard time finding that in Toronto.
I was not expecting to have like desserts.
This chocolate cake was great. So think of how we were feeling going to bed that night. We just had the greatest day ever.
Morning. This is our first full day on safari. We have some tea that they've greeted us with. It's about 6 a.m. We're going on our first game drive at 6:30 for today. Some cookies, and we're gonna have breakfast out on the plains. And today the plan is to see some hippos and crocodiles and visit a Maasai village and learn some of their cultural ways and how they live. Come along with us. This first sunrise was so beautiful. And right away we saw a couple of jackals, which although they are scavengers, they're actually really cute.
Yeah, they're cute.
David explained that they tend to work in pairs, a male and female monogamous partnership.
Maybe we could be jackals?
We could be jackals.
But dik-diks, there's another animal that we didn't get a lot of shots of. I got one little photo of it.
The tiniest antelope, and they're really shy.
And David said they often die when their partner has passed away of a broken heart. So I'd like to think we're dik-diks more than jackals.
And then we saw some hyenas.
Then we saw lots of hyenas, and stay tuned for more hyenas because they're everywhere and they're going to play very much the role they play in Lion King on this trip. And then
we had another amazing baby animal encounter. We're about to see giraffe baby.
This is just one day old.
One day?
Yeah, 1 day old.
She still has the umbilical cord.
Yeah, the umbilical cord. Even the legs are still wobbling.
incredible stuff all around us. Life happening everywhere. Births. Look.
That was so cute. We saw a lot of baby giraffes. It was so...
Little squishy, wrinkly
They're
faces.
so wrinkly. Their like necks have like too much skin
So
still.
there you go. You said, oh, if I see a giraffe, I'll be so happy. What is this? Morning number 1 and we've seen like 40.
Baby with an umbilical cord still. And then we saw some birds. We saw some guinea fowl. We saw a really pretty lilac-breasted roller.
Yes, very stunning bird. The sun was just starting to come up, so we were starting to get really good light, which was pretty awesome for
This.
So she's calling the rest of the pride. This is the Western pride, the biggest pride that I was telling you. Wow, that's amazing, huh?
Happy with the photos you got?
You're gonna need more storage. And then after that lioness, just to show how good of a spotter Caleb and David are, they spotted what they thought were 2 lions. It must have been about 2 kilometers away in the distance. I mean, it was a strain to see them even through the binoculars, and they did it with their naked eyes, which is pretty amazing.
You see the very far open field?
Yeah.
The lions at the light of the trees.
And they were right. It was 2 lionesses, and they had some really good news for us.
Tiny, tiny lion cubs. Even our guides were surprised by how many there were.
It was unbelievable. Oh my goodness.
So we used to have 4, but seemed like they introduced the 3 of the tiny ones on the far left. See the very tiny ones on the left? We have never seen those, the very tiny ones. You know, I told you this morning we only always have 4. But seem like they introduced another 3 new ones. See the one on the left, the 3 one on the left?
Yes.
They're slightly tinier than the one on the right. So we have never seen those one on the left. So this is the first time we saw them.
Yeah, first time now.
We always have only 4.
If you loved that baby lion encounter,
You see nothing.
then stay tuned because there is more where that came from.
Cuteness overload.
And then after those cubs, we saw 2 vervet monkeys giving each other a kiss in the beautiful trees. And then David heard some guinea fowl making a bit of a ruckus, and that led us to the 7-year-old male lion. So David got a call that there is a leopard in a tree, which is rare. So we are rushing to get to the leopard before it leaves.
We were booking it. When you get a call about a leopard, you go, I guess. That's the...
They're elusive, they're hard to see, and they're another one of the big 5.
Yeah.
So we were just flying past herds of wildebeest, zebra babies, baboons.
Yeah, all old news, man. Like this
We saw some topi locking horns, and topi are really cool.
Is there
and
video of that?
No.
But that was cool.
And we didn't get, you have one photo of
2,
topi, I
maybe.
think.
Yeah, nothing.
They're kind of stylish, they're cool looking.
Yeah, they had like silver leggings.
But we had a leopard to go find. And when we pulled up, there were a couple of other trucks there, so we knew that she was still up in the tree.
Oh yeah.
But we couldn't quite see her. And then she decided to really come out for us.
Yeah, right there, David, right there. Wow, that's a perfect one. Yeah. You try that before she disappears.
We thought she was about to come down and out of the tree, but
We thought we missed it.
until
I didn't get it, you didn't get it, but your mom got her coming down the tree, which is pretty cool.
it happened so fast,
So fast.
my mom's quick hands, she got us a photo.
Are we okay?
We just set up a little breakfast spot here. So we'll show you what we have for breakfast and taking the view. Also celebrating our leopard sighting.
Our first breakfast out on the plains was a delicious spread of crepes, roasted sweet potato, fresh fruit, and they even had peanut butter. So we slathered some PB and jam onto toast and enjoyed our breakfast with a coffee and a juice and a view.
Back on the road after breakfast, and we saw another big 5. I mean, we were checking them off left, right, and center here.
We were on our way to the Maasai village and we saw Cape buffalo, which David explained are one of the most dangerous animals.
When they're a solo male.
Yeah.
They're less dangerous when they're in a pack, but still not great.
We kept our distance.
Mm-hmm.
We followed up that dangerous animal with some crocodiles trying to blend into their surroundings.
It was kind of like bad. You could very clearly see
They're
them.
just like
so-
putting a bush on your head.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, you can't see
Felt like
me.
an old like comedy spy movie or something where there's like big sunglasses and a mustache.
It
or
seemed to be
something.
working though, because I think if we stayed long enough, there were some birds getting dangerously close to those
Yeah,
mouths.
but we moved on and we saw another big dangerous one, and that's a hippo, and they were stinky.
So all along the river, we have about more than 100 hippos. Whoa. All along the river.
And I actually got a photo of one hippo who didn't have any ears. David pointed it out. He popped his head up
Yeah.
above the water, but he didn't have any ears. So might have lost it in a fight with some other hippos, or we loved him all the same.
But there were a lot of them.
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
When we got to the Maasai village, we were welcomed by the young warriors with their jumping dance and had the opportunity to take part in the Yadumu. We were welcomed into a traditional Maasai home, A little girl showed us how she learned to write the numbers 1 to 10 at school. The warriors showed us how they make fire, and we bought some beautiful handmade goods to take home with us.
So after our 6-hour adventure, and we came home with some goodies and hearts full and just minds blown, time for some more amazing food, lunch.
We had a green salad, roasted veggies, and a really tasty simple pasta with tomato sauce, and then another delicious dessert, these chocolate-covered cake balls.
Kind of like a cake pop with strawberry sauce on them. They were so good. And again, really unexpected. That was the theme, I think. We were kind of just being like, surprised all the time.
It was a lunch dessert.
Yeah, first of all, just lunch dessert. Like usually dessert's like a dinner thing, but we had dessert with lunch every day. We got spoiled, Catherine.
And remember how we said that those Cape buffalo are one of the most dangerous animals? Well, one decided to visit us while we were eating, but it kept its distance. So it was a nice little visitor for lunch. And then a whole bunch of zebra came by.
Pretty good view from our accommodation, eh?
Tough to beat.
A little fun fact, do you know what a group of zebra are called?
No. Should I?
A dazzle. I think they have some other names too, but I like that. They are really beautiful, so a dazzle of zebra.
Speaking of desserts though, there was always a dessert before our evening game drive.
Which we just discovered
Homemade by
this day.
Yeah, it was homemade by Solomon, who was always in the common room. He was just the sweetest guy. Yeah, this day was like a carrot cake.
It was so good.
I almost ate all of this before Brian was like, we should probably show you this. I don't think it's carrot cake. Brian was saying carrot cake, but I think it's orange, but it's so moist and amazing. And there's some other pieces over there, so this might not be our last. So we're heading out for our night game drive now, or evening game drive. There's some thunder in the distance, so we might get some rain showers. But we are on the lookout for cheetah, apparently. And my mom just said that she thought, there's the thunder, thought she saw a cat run really quickly right across here. So maybe we'll be successful.
And we're off. Wildebeest babies, eland, which are huge, impalas, ugly vultures in the beautiful acacia trees, hyena poop, which David explained turns white because of the high concentration of calcium from all the bones they eat, an ostrich, and then
Keep in mind this is only our first full day and we're coming up on our 4th out of the big 5. Like wild. We've been here for like 24 hours.
They were just so amazing to watch. They're so quiet for such huge animals. And David was explaining to us how elephants only sleep for a couple of hours a day because they keep moving and eating. Whereas lions, on the other hand, eat so much heavy food that they spend most of the day being pretty darn lazy.
I think, maybe if they ate less meat, they might not go into a food coma, a little more plants in their diet. They might feel more energized to take on the day, but...
They were so funny, just legs in the air.
We had a dog growing up who used to sleep like that.
On his back like that?
Just full spread on display. After them, we then saw more elephants.
And when we drove up to this mama elephant with a baby, we noticed though that the mother elephant was injured. There was something stuck in her foot. So that was hard to see.
But because our safari is on a conservancy, David called a park ranger and we learned that the next day
they helicoptered some vets in and yeah, they were able to sedate her and treat her.
And they took whatever out of her foot. And you'll see later on in the video, we catch up with her on her calf again, and she is moving better. Still not perfect, but she was on the mend. The Conservancy and Game Watchers working in action, which was really nice to see it.
Yeah, just taking care of the animals, not interfering with regular life, but if you have an injured elephant with a little injury like that.
It was good, really good to see.
And maybe this female lion was a little sad about that elephant too, because she seemed a little snappy. But they seemed to work out whatever was happening between the two of them, and we settled in to some more sundowners and snacks.
This is pretty unreal. We're sitting feet away from a male lion. The lionesses seem to be going on a hunt. And we're having gin and tonic and snacks in the Jeep. Look how close he is to me. Like, right there. It's a little disconcerting. But our guide's safe.
I was safe.
We cozied up in front of a warm fire in the common room before dinner. And our appetizer tonight was a delicious little spiced chickpea patty.
It's got a bit of a kick.
Then we had a curried pea soup
Fresh bread.
Fresh bread. You're welcome.
and the main dish.
So tonight we have, these are fried kidney beans with some green pepper, yellow pepper, veggies, and some potato. And then this, I do not remember the name, but it's a Kenyan dish of beans and corn. Have you tried it yet?
So good, so flavorful. I don't know the name. We'll put it down below.
That Kenyan dish is called githeri, I think. That's close enough pronunciation, hopefully. But it's boiled maize and beans in a tomato-y sauce, and I'm gonna try to make it soon. I think my plan is to try to serve that alongside the chapati in our cooking video that's coming up.
We're shooting this in advance, but it is gonna come out soon.
Future Catherine from right now filming the video. We'll have to figure out how to make that. Oh yeah, and then the dessert. I think we have a sound up to show you what Brian thought of the dessert this night.
How are you liking the dessert, Brian?
I love it. This is amazing.
You're getting all that chocolate sauce.
Yep. I'm gonna show you something. Oh no. Hot water bottles. Bet you didn't think I was gonna. Look at that lovely attention to detail. So nice.
This warm, cozy bed. Good night. Good morning for our second full day at the Old Kenya Conservancy. We didn't see cheetah yesterday, so cheetah is still top of the list today to try to find. Cross your fingers for us, and we're going to enjoy a little bit of tea and some biscuits again before we head out.
Not much of a sunrise this morning, a little cloudy and rainy, but we're still gonna embrace it. And our first encounter of the day was another baby animal sighting. This baby hyena was about 1 week old, and although they are one of the ugly 5 animals, they do have cute babies.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. Very tiny.
Actually, David said that all of the ugly 5 are cute as babies.
And then I guess it's just downhill. They just get, they don't age well.
And speaking of downhill, we then came across another poor wildebeest who met his demise, his or her, their demise.
Yeah, but it was very dramatic. Rain was falling. David heard some jackals in the distance, so did Caleb. So
and some hyenas running, and so we followed.
So we followed the trail.
It's up here. Hills up ahead.
The hyenas were having a big old breakfast, but there was a lot of them. There was maybe 40 hyenas, and they were all barking at each other and going crazy, and the rain was falling, and got some pretty dramatic photos, so it made for some...
it was hard to watch. It was a little uncomfortable, but David explained that although hyenas are usually scavengers, if they are in a big enough group, then they can take down a bigger animal on their own.
But the guides, David and Caleb, were really good about checking in about what we were comfortable with, but then they were also good about that when we saw lovely, happy things as well. If I wanted to stay longer to take more photos, or if they wanted to move on, or if I wanted to move on. So Gamewatchers was terrific for that. It was such a great experience. We were very much in control, and we were barely ever around other trucks. There was at most we saw 2 other trucks, so we were really on our own. It was a really personal experience.
So it's nice to know that if you want to go on safari, but you do not want to see that sort of hyena encounter, then you can just tell your guides that you don't want to see that, and they can keep on going, and they were happy to accommodate whatever we wanted to see and what we didn't. I think we needed some more cute babies after that, and the giraffes delivered. Breakfast today was some more crepes, some beans with zucchini, fresh watermelon and papaya, PB&J, and of course, views of the plains.
That's the taste test, Brian.
So good. The beans are delicious.
And we even watched a wildebeest suckling while we ate.
Here's the wildebeest.
After breakfast, the weather started to clear up, which was great, so we went back out onto the road, or trails, and plains, and we saw Zazu.
A red-billed Hornbill? No, that's not what it is.
A
What is it?
red-billed hornbill.
Oh, red-billed hornbill. It is. And our guides were so good that even when it didn't seem like many animals were out in the open, they noticed the tiny creatures too. We caught our first glimpse of the elusive dik-diks. This is where we saw them. So again, they're the smallest antelope and really shy. And David spotted this leopard tortoise, which is one of the small 5. Those acacia trees were so pretty, especially with eland running beneath them.
Very majestic. What a picture you're painting.
Then we saw some warthogs, which are so funny, and I actually really love them.
Oh, so cute.
They're shy. They're hard to get a photo of because they see you and then they run the other way. But
this was, we caught a glimpse of a baby here, a little tiny warthog, and yeah, they run with their like tails just sticking up all in a line.
Straight line.
I can see why they're the comedic relief in The Lion King.
Now it was almost lunch, so we're on our way back. We saw a water buck lounging in the grass.
Right outside of our cottages, just before we got back for lunch.
Yeah, the cottages, we've sort of, said this without saying it, are like right in the middle of it. 3 out of the 5 nights we were there, we woke up to the sounds of lions.
It's cool to be that immersed, but also in a way where you can be confident that you're having as little of an impact on the environment.
Everything's solar powered and it's great. So, but
no plastic is allowed. Everything was, utensils and cups. And
I just wanted to say that because you are immersed in it. So
I think we have photos of some zebra where you can see like the roof of the cottage, like right above them.
Having our tea. We just got back from our morning game drive. We're having some tea, looking at this view, which is, as far as views go, kind of doesn't get any better.
Our shoes are drying because they got pretty muddy in this morning's rain.
Now we're gonna just take it easy with a herbal tea and
Have some lunch in a bit.
count our blessings. We're not wildebeest.
For lunch today, we had 2 delicious salads, a creamy papaya, avocado, grape, and cucumber salad, and then a pineapple, sun-dried tomato, and green bean salad, a great tomato-based pizza with Italian seasonings, and roasted veggies. And for dessert, a mango sorbet.
Super fresh mango. Delicious.
So this was the day we discovered that those afternoon desserts that we have before the game drives, that Solomon was making them.
And these were mandasi donuts.
Mandasi.
Mandasi. Did you make these?
Yeah, I made this.
Whoa.
You made them?
You made them?
Yeah, I made this.
Oh, thank you, Solomon.
Thank you, Solomon. It's delicious.
Wow, okay.
Did you make the cake yesterday?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yesterday.
Cake was amazing.
Good.
It was one of the best cakes I've ever had.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Is there some turmeric in here? It's a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of flour? Is it just white flour or?
Wheat flour.
Man of many talents. It was great.
Yeah, he was really sweet. Loading back into the truck for our evening game drive, David was excited to see Brian's photos of that baby hyena.
Oh, wow. So yeah.
And oh baby, did we see more babies. First we saw a baby buffalo right away, just as we were driving out from our cottages. And then we saw a bunch of tiny zebra. And then our guide started searching the bushes for where the cats like to hang out. We could hear some roars and squeaks coming from the bushes, so we waited and waited. And then eventually, this one little brave cub came out. Then it started calling for its mom, and 4 more came out. And they just kept coming. There were 10 lion cubs in total, practicing their life skills, tackling, wrestling, paws and faces, biting of tails, baby roars and squeaks, nursing from their mums, and curiously looking toward us.
see, Catherine?
10 little lion cubs. 10.
Did you count the 10?
And I'm a little teary because I think that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And Brian took 1,000 photos.
We celebrated our lion cub sighting with our sundowner gin and tonics, roasted nuts, and then the rain really started coming down. So we headed back to the cottage and watched the lightning storm by the warm fire. We reviewed some photos, and Solomon bestowed the queen glass on me with some pre-dinner wine, and then another delicious dinner. The appetizer today was mushrooms on toast.
These mushrooms are delicious.
Another delicious soup. The main dish was stuffed eggplant with a tomato sauce and roasted veggies. And our Kenyan dish of the day was mukimu.
You like the mukimo?
So good, so delicious. We need it on the blog.
But I had actually made it once before because one of you suggested I make it years ago. And it's kind of like mashed potatoes with spinach blended in and some boiled corn and sometimes some other vegetables. And it was really delicious. And for dessert today, it was that coconut macadamia nut cake.
Oh,
it's delicious.
Yeah, that was really good. With a little like fruit sauce on the side.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if it was like mango or something. It was tasty.
So this is our third full day.
Third full day.
No,
And-
third full day. Last night we saw the lion cubs. It was kind of unbelievable, and then the craziest rainstorm came in, and it rained all night, and it's still kind of raining right now. So this morning's game drive is going to be
Maybe muddy.
interesting.
So we'll see how much ground we can cover because we were getting stuck a little bit in the mud yesterday, and now it's rained for like 12 hours. So
We'll see.
we'll see.
But this morning we're having another tea and coffee, and they brought Catherine soy milk.
I realized yesterday that they have soy milk.
So-
So black tea this morning for me. We've been having green tea and herbal tea because not needing to go to the washroom on a game drive is also handy. So
And we learned from our guide David that going to the bathroom politely is for men to check the tire pressure, and for women is to go pick some flowers.
or mark your territory.
Yeah,
And
right.
women pick flowers.
Right.
It's very demure.
Much more delicate.
And the other exciting thing about today is after our first game drive, we are going to cook with William, the chef here. And he's going to teach me 1, maybe 2 Kenyan dishes.
And that's going to be next week's video. We're going to have those recipes come out so you can make them. They're going to be up on the blog. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, so we'll see what that's like.
All right. See you out on the game drive. First up today, we saw 2 big male lions who we think are the daddies of all those cubs.
Yeah, that's what Caleb and David were saying.
There you go.
Yeah. And it seemed like they were grooming themselves after a night of eating. They still had like some blood on their paws.
And one was all scarred up, and tough life being a lion. They should
Yeah.
really cherish those young cub years because they take a beating later on.
Yeah, I was surprised by how banged up they were. So lots of scars, lots of little gashes. One was kind of missing a tongue, half a tongue. And
Yeah, and another guy, I have a photo, he's kind of missing part of his nostril, and so,
tough life.
yeah.
Then we moved on to some young male lion cubs being little disruptors and running at a tower of giraffes just for fun. There were maybe 12 or so giraffes here, and I don't know if they appreciated the lions just disrupting their eating. Another thing about giraffes that we learned from our guides was that you can tell their age by how dark their spots are. So this older male got really close to us and was very handsome.
Then it was breakfast.
And we found some high ground because it was pretty drizzly and muddy, but we put some ponchos on, we embraced it, and we had another delicious breakfast.
And Caleb was so nice. He was drying off our cutlery and our seats and our plates for us. So again, they just took really good care of us from beginning to end. And for breakfast, we had the usual, more crepes, more sweet potatoes.
More delicious fruit. We had pineapple juice, which was kind of our go-to.
I had so much pineapple juice there. I think I drank them out of their pineapple juice.
I think people drink more alcohol than we do typically, so we drank them out of their juice.
Love juice.
Our guide spotted a cheetah in the distance, so now we're going to rush over to find and we get a glimpse of the cheetah.
We were getting stuck in the mud, but we managed to see this young male recently separated from its mother, and this cheetah was collared because their survival rates are actually really low. So this one was being tracked to see where he travels to. We never saw a full sprint, but he did trot for us just a bit.
I did manage to get a shot of some wildebeest and then some impalas, I think, kind of very much aware of the cheetah, but he couldn't be bothered with them. David said that...
I think he was just on the move and looking for some cover because I guess the survival rate for cheetahs is like 5%
Yeah, that's wild.
reach maturity.
I had no idea.
So I guess he was more so on the lookout for predators and trying to get into the bushes where he eventually parted ways with us.
The cheetah, I think, was one of my bucket list animals. It was so cool, the sloped back.
The curve of its back.
Yeah, and it was really big check. It was awesome. But then we headed back to the cottages because you had a cooking class with William.
William taught me how to make chapati, and we'll show you that whole cooking class soon in another video, plus give you the recipe, of course. And then we tucked into another delicious lunch. We had a green salad, we had a beet and orange salad, the chapati we made, and another delicious curry.
The chapati was amazing. You did great.
And I joked with William. I cut the chapati into triangles and presented them like that. And I joked with him that he had to do that because the chapati I made weren't quite circular. And he teased me and said that they look like... If they're not circular, I'll do this. It'll make it look better.
Trying the chapati. Flakiness. On its own, it's so good. Scoop up some beans. So yellow beans with some garam masala and tomato. So flavorful.
Oh, and we had a strawberry sorbet for dessert.
Can't forget dessert. Best part.
Is that something mixed with strawberries?
I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask.
It's very good.
And then before our evening game drive, we had another one of Solomon's delicious treats. This was an apricot and orange muffin.
It was so tasty. All of his baked goods were so light and...
Just like in the afternoon when you just want another little something.
Yum. Thanks, Solomon.
And first up on this game drive, we waited for David the hippo to appear.
He'd been given the name David by our guide, David, because David was the first one that spotted him. And this watering hole is right in front of the lodge.
And it's a man-made little pool.
Yes.
So there aren't any other hippos in it, but I guess this solo hippo was injured and had been cast out from his family group. So he made his way to this watering hole and was spending some time there to recover. We were hoping to catch a glimpse of him, but he never surfaced.
No, David, our guide, thinks that David the hippo was maybe out looking for a girlfriend to bring back to his newfound digs.
Yeah, and make his own little family in this new watering hole. So we will catch a glimpse of David later, so stay tuned. At another little watering hole, we saw warthogs, a stork, and monkeys, some more zebra and wildebeest, and then we caught up with our injured elephant and her baby.
The vets had caught up with her and they had removed what was ever in her foot, and she was moving better.
And I guess she was moving better because she did catch up with the rest of her herd.
Oh my god, a really small one. They're coming up this way.
We were treated to this little watering hole gathering. The tiny baby was pretty protected in there, but we got to see it kind of playing with its trunk, and we watched the elephants drinking for probably a half hour or more. At one point, they heard something and scattered for a moment, but we didn't hear anything, so it must be true what they say about elephants hearing. And they came back to drink a bit more, but we let them be and moved on to our sundowner spot.
Sundowners this night, I think there was more homemade taro chips, which were so tasty.
We had some fun with Caleb and David.
We loved those guys. I mean, they were great. They were so much fun to hang out with, and we spent so much time with them. I felt like we really got to know them. It was awesome.
And then we headed back to the cottage for our second cooking class before dinner. This time, William taught me to make ugali and sukuma wiki. Ugali is a thick Kenyan porridge made from maize flour or cornmeal and water, and often served with sukuma wiki, which are collard greens that are cooked with tomato and some seasonings. Just like the chapati, we'll have a little recipe video for you soon if you want to try it for yourself.
We ended the night with another delicious dinner. William outdid himself all the
We
time.
had a crispy spring roll for an appetizer.
So good. I'm gonna slap the table.
Then we had a curried pea soup, which is a combination I don't think I've ever had before.
No, but it was really tasty.
So that might be something we need to try soon.
Yeah.
And then the main dish was stuffed butternut squash with really beautifully piped mashed potatoes, some other roasted veg, and then of course our Kenyan dish, that ugali and sukuma wiki. Okay, so I sort of mold it with my hands, and then like this.
I think so.
Wow.
William approves. Delicious. Very nice. I think I did good.
Yeah.
Thank you, William.
And for dessert, William made a decadent chocolate cakey brownie.
Yeah, again, it was different though than the first one. No?
Yeah, this one was a little denser. It still wasn't like a fudgy sort of brownie, but
Right.
he called it a brownie, but it was a cakey brownie. I think even I call it cake and you call it brownie in our sound-ups.
How's the cake with the maple syrup?
I'm almost done. It's delicious. No such thing as a bad brownie.
Whatever it was delicious. And William actually used some Canadian maple syrup in it because we had brought some for him for a gift for doing the cooking classes with us. So
Yeah.
we had some little Canadian maple syrup in our cake brownie.
Funny thing about the maple syrup, I think he liked it, but he gave it to his sous chef, and we got a shot of that guy tasting it, and I don't think he liked it that
I
much.
think he likes it at first and then goes, and it's like way too sweet.
Way too sweet. Good morning. Last full day?
Yeah.
Boo.
It's been so amazing.
But we still got 3 game drives left. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen, because on game drives, man, oh man, everything happens. It's a little moth. See? Nature. Even when you're just having tea in the morning.
Cut them off.
Wow. I wonder if you did that on camera. That's amazing. Nature conqueror.
I was one-handed.
Yeah. Wow. That's the Portuguese island, didn't you? All right, so what's on tap for today?
I think we're going to try to see a baby hyena again.
We went to the den yesterday, but everybody was out. They were having dinner, I guess.
Yeah, the babies would have been hidden, but the mama was out, so the babies weren't going to come out.
But we're going to go there, maybe see a cheetah or a leopard again, probably some lions. And who knows? Stick around.
With all that rain we'd had, the hyena den was probably flooded, so the mother needed to move the baby. And David explained that hyenas tend to take over abandoned dens from other animals like warthogs, jackals, so she was off to find a drier one. We had a morning of baboons, storks, giraffes, driving across the beautiful plains, and through the riverbeds. We saw some baby zebras and some energetic wildebeest. Perhaps the wildebeest knew what was coming because we came across another hyena kill. Thankfully, they were nearly done though, so it didn't interfere with how we felt about our last breakfast in the bush.
Although I was sad in general because it was our last breakfast.
But we were still
Yeah.
taking on the day.
Yeah,
But
but-
yeah, last breakfast. We had beans today, toast, a variety of fruit, even passion fruit, and some pancakes. We also watched some dung beetles when we had stopped for breakfast. And we watched some jackals barking at each other.
And then after breakfast, we had another Big 5 moment. What was it?
This solitary bull with only one tusk.
Which David told us that means you know what hand they are. So I guess he's right-handed or was the other way around?
Well, usually they have one tusk that's longer than the other, so that can tell you if they're right or left-handed. But this one, wasn't his tusk actually like broken?
It was his right one.
Yeah, so I think David said that he either would have broken it like on a tree or potentially in a fight.
And we saw this big guy, he did everything. He ate,
He gave himself a mud bath.
he pooped,
He peed.
He peed, he scratched his bum up against a tree, which I guess, I mean, how else is he gonna scratch his bum? So that makes sense. He was just having a little like home care routine, you know, just a little self-love morning.
And gave us some laughs.
Yeah.
Eating bug.
We rounded out the morning game drive with some vultures loudly mating in a tree, more giraffes, and another one sitting down, plus a baby giraffe. We saw zebra at the edge of David the hippo's watering hole, but still no sign of David. And not only were these 3 giraffes waiting to greet us at the cottage, we also had them on the cutest placemats for our lunch. All the details of these accommodations were so lovely.
Lunch was amazing. Again, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but it's true.
And you love beets, so we had
I do
another
love beets. It's the Polish in me, I think.
another beet and carrot slaw, a quinoa salad, vegetable rice, and a curry that was chickpeas and green peas.
All stewed together in a yumminess. And for dessert, because I love desserts, we had a raspberry sorbet. It was delicious. All the fruit was so fresh and everything was so fresh. All the spices, but the fruit especially was nice. Like Catherine said just recently with the placemats, everything was always decorated so beautifully, and it was just the attention to detail really made you feel like you were at home. And they would even say that when we would pull up to the cottage, they'd say, "Welcome home."
Yeah, we took some time to sing their praises in the guest book, and then
Giraffes.
Just in front of our cottage, there's giraffes, there's zebra, and there's my mom admiring them.
And then by the time we had our afternoon snack, some Mandasi donuts that Solomon made,
So good.
that sunny weather turned to an absolute downpour.
Yeah, it made for a pretty wet evening game drive, but we still had probably one of the coolest encounters, I think, on the whole trip.
With the lioness and her cubs.
Yes, tell the people.
We saw this lioness nursing her cubs, and then they all like fell asleep together.
And cuddled. I mean,
It was really sweet.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't get more beautiful than that. It's pretty special. Speaking of moms, we caught back up with our injured elephant, and she was doing a little better.
Yeah.
They're pretty
yeah.
wet from the rain, but
And it was raining really heavily.
Yeah.
So we decided to enjoy our sundowner drinks and snacks back at the cottage before dinner.
fire,
Yeah.
warmth, blankets, everything you love.
Love.
Now that we were all warm, dinner time.
And we had a vegetable tart for an appetizer. We had a tomato soup, which was actually pretty light in color, and it was delicious.
Good. All the soups were so good.
And those homemade bread rolls.
Oh, can't forget about it.
And then, fittingly, we had a comforting mushroom crepe with tomato sauce for the main dish, with some roasted potatoes and veggies. And for our Kenyan dish, we had some githeri again. And if all this wasn't fulfilling the rainy day comfort vibes enough, we had this for dessert.
Chocolate, lions. It's got it all. All right, having our last morning tea. We're going out for one more shortened game drive, and then we're gonna come back for breakfast and not have breakfast out in the bush. And then we're gonna have a little walking safari, just kind of around our lodges, looking at some plants and insects.
Smaller creatures.
Yeah, smaller things that you don't necessarily notice from the Jeep.
Hopefully we don't come across some buffalo.
Yeah, and then we're just gonna pack our bags and then start our journey home. But this has been the best, really. We've gone to some amazing places and met some amazing people, but this is going to be really, really hard to top, I think.
I think so.
So on our last game drive, the lions came out. They said goodbye.
And then we saw this secretary bird, and we'd seen a couple of these.
They are odd.
They are weird. All of us at the same time were like, what is that? And it treated us to a little show of its bizarre hunting style of just stomping on its food.
Sort of like a normal looking bird, but then he's got these just big fluffy, bouncy, floppy things coming out of the back of its head.
It looks like a cartoon creation.
It was weird.
If you're birders,
Yes.
then a lot of people are, and the guys know all about the different birds. So we learned a lot about birds that we didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
And we weren't even expecting to see like an ostrich. We were all like, ostrich.
Yeah.
And we saw a really beautiful mother and baby giraffe moment.
Yes.
Both eating from a tree, and Brian has beautiful photos of the two of them. And then we said jambo to some mongoose that were running by.
Jumbo is hello in Swahili for everybody back home.
Yeah.
So we said lots of jambos.
I think it's jambo,
Jambo?
like more like jam.
So we said lots of jambos. Then on the way back to the cottage, we saw
David.
The hippo.
And David didn't have a lady with him, but
still flying solo.
still solo. But he did seem like he's been recovering well from his injuries, and so maybe the day will come. We'll
David,
have to text
if you're out
David.
there watching, let us know. Did you find love?
We had some different breakfast options since we were eating at the cottage and not out in the bush. We had Weetabix, a delicious homemade muesli, cornflakes with soy milk, and then our lovely fresh fruit potatoes, and crepes.
So now we're going for a walk on the plains of Africa. We are walking just out in the open plains, and we'll show you what we find.
This walking safari was sort of a real bonus. I didn't know it was going to happen. They sort of suggested we do it when we were there, and I'm so glad we did. We learned so much.
It was cool to have our feet on the ground and see all the footprints and all the poop.
A lot of poop.
More of that calcified hyena poop. And we saw a wildebeest horn and a jawbone. And Caleb taught us that you can tell the age of an elephant based on its poop. So the rougher it is, the more big twigs there are, the older the elephant is.
I wonder if that'll come in handy one day. I wonder if we'll be able to use that.
Well, if we find ourselves with some elephant poop, Caleb also told us that all you need is 2 big sniffs of some elephant poop that's been burned to relieve a headache.
Did you Google that at all for verification, or was he just giving you
I
ideas?
did, because I didn't know that it had to be burning.
Oh.
I think I had just written that
You
he
just whiff it
said,
as
like, you
is.
just whiff it as is. So if you are on safari, you got a headache, you can pull over to some elephant poop.
But set it
give
on fire first.
But apparently, maybe it needs the flame element.
Probably makes it smell even worse.
I don't know, but it's all like grass and stuff. So maybe it just smells like burning grass.
Because they're vegans.
Caleb also taught us about all kinds of other medicinal uses they have for different plants. They will boil the leaves of the leopard tree, I think, for earaches.
One bush was a
and-
natural insecticide that they rub up their houses that they make with, so.
Yeah, and use it in their brooms and stuff to keep flies away. I think that's like the orange crofton plant. I think that's what that's called.
Very cool.
And then you ate a wild carrot.
Yeah, it tasted earthy.
But it tasted like a carrot?
It did taste like a carrot. It tasted almost like a sweet carrot, a little grainy. When you're in the Jeep driving around, you see the ecosystem, on the big scale, but then when you're walking, you see it on the minuscule insect scale. And there's just as much happening, if not more, with all the dung beetles.
And the termite mound
Yeah,
showed
the
us.
termite mound.
And he taught us about the social structure of the termite mound. There's like soldiers and workers and reproductives.
Yeah.
And it was a great way to end our safari, just
Yeah.
having our feet on the ground.
Last lunch, Brian?
They're amazing.
It was tasty again, the usual family style lunch, but so good.
And we said have a bittersweet goodbye to everyone who worked there as we headed to the airport. The we'll show you a picture of what the
Airport in
was like.
quotations. It was a field with a thing where the car could park under. I mean, I feel like we've been on some cool trips, but again, just like when we went to Bali, the people really made it. Everybody, David, Caleb, our guides, Morris, the manager, everybody at Gamewatchers, they were the best. This was really fantastic.
Yeah, from start to finish, it was so easy to plan and organize, and we just felt so taken care of the whole time.
Yeah.
And to be able to go on an experience like this and eat well, not feel limited at all with the options that we had. It was a wonderful little gift that we had such great food to accompany this adventure.
Trip of a lifetime. We hope you enjoyed it. Leave those comments down below with anything. I don't know. There's so many things you could maybe comment. But hit that subscribe button and tune in, because Thursday, Catherine's making ugali. Sunday, Catherine's making chapati. Like I said, it's Kenya week.
It keeps on going. Thank you, Game Watchers, and thank you all for watching. Now go on safari.
We'll go with you.
I'm seriously thinking about like group trips. If that's something you want, then let us know in the comments. Like, you come with us and you got Brian to take photos, we have vegan food, and we have Game Watchers organize it. That's like a dream job. So let us know if you're interested.